So these are the 7 apps that run my entire YouTube business. I've tested over 200 plus apps and wasted over $5,000 on SaaS products this year. And to be honest, most of them are garbage. And the reviews you've been watching, half of those are just guys cashing on that sweet affiliate commission on a 5-figure brand deal that they never tell you about, even though they're supposed to disclose that. I paid for every single one of these tools with my own hard-earned money. In case you don't know me, I'm Kevin. I used to be a drug dealer, also known as a pharmacist, and I quit a 12-year career to live in my mom's basement, build a YouTube channel, and a high-ticket sales business. I now travel across Asia and strangle children at BJJ and also wrist lock women. Anyways, I'm currently managing a 7-person media team. I bought, refunded, and rebought more software than I care to admit. But finally, my system now runs my entire YouTube business. And these are the 7 apps that actually eventually paid for themselves. And I'm judging every tool on 3 things: how many clicks it kind of saves for me and my team, what it actually costs, and whether the ROI is real or BS. By the way, we have shot some full worth it reviews for some of these apps, so if you're interested in those, we have all the links below. Let's get into the first tool, Poppy, the whiteboard app that replaced a copywriter. This tool alone turned my $5 per hour VA into a $50 per hour copywriter. No, I didn't have to train her for months. I didn't have to hire a coach. I just gave her one tool. Now, a lot of people will be like, hey, just use Claude, just use ChatGPT, dump in your ideas and get the content out. And they say it's so simple. But here's what no one tells you. The secret is the context data that you can connect with Poppy. The truth is, Claude, ChatGPT, they don't always know your voice. And even though you can dedicate certain project files and stuff, it's sometimes what I've noticed, it kind of forgets that context data. And honestly, I would rip out my hair, which is why I'm bald, because every single session I was starting, it was from zero. I was always having to explain like the context of what I was doing, who I am, how I talk, and it gets really exhausting going back and forth. And if you use something like ChatGPT or Claude, it's going to sound like every other AI generated video on the platform. And so that's where Poppy comes in. Think about it like when Miro and Claude have a baby. It's a whiteboarding app, and it's completely changed how my entire team operates. So for me, I like to build a board for every single process that we do. So I built it for YouTube scripts, research, emails, thumbnail analysis. And what I really love is the visual whiteboarding process plus the AI combo is something that no chat interface can really replicate. What I find is like I process things way better visually than just like, through text. And so here's my actual workflow on the team. Basically what I'll do is I'll go on a walk, I'll yap into Letterly, and I'll trigger a Zapier to copy and paste into my Notion. Then my social media manager or scriptwriter, they take that transcription and drop into Poppy with my custom script writing prompts. We take the outlier data, the videos I've done, and a whole master PDF file about me that we kind of created. What I love about Poppy is that it captures the way I actually talk. Since it's a brain dump, this is my actual brand voice, and that becomes a brand guideline over time. My VA doesn't have to guess what my voice sounds like, how I write. The system just does it automatically. My video editor will then dump our transcripts for any edits and cut out all the boring parts. My social media manager will use it to analyze short form videos. My thumbnail designer uses it to break down what's working in a thumbnail and what's not working. And I have to say, this is the one app that has really transformed everything in my life, honestly. Full transparency though, the team can be a bit salesy. I've met them. They're really cool people, but yeah, there's definitely some tech bro energy there. And the learning curve can be a bit steep. It's not impossible. It's not like learning Claude Code or Claude Bot or anything like that, but the learning curve is real, and you'll spend probably your first hour trying to set up your first board, but it's an exciting energy. For me, the ROI was kind of immediate, just because I could just enable my team to do a lot more and then also pay them more for more strategy roles too. And if you're asking who's this not for, I don't think it's for like solo creators who love doing all the work by themselves. So, there's people that really love doing the manual work of researching and writing and stuff like that too. You probably don't need this then. But I find that once you start delegating, Poppy becomes so essential to the process, and most business owners that I know at the highest level, they are all using Poppy too. One of my buddies, he has a 1.3 million per month business, and Poppy is an essential tool for them. So If it's good enough for him, probably good enough for me too. So my verdict on Poppy is that it can be an essential, not only SOP, but it can be the central operating system for your content team, meaning you can store all your SOPs there, and not only that, they can copy and paste any context data to run the prompt and get what you want, which is amazing. If you want to see a full video on Poppy, we have a full review on this channel, which leads me into the next tool that I mentioned earlier. Letterly. This is my tool of choice for capturing my brain dumps without having to sit down. So Poppy builds a system, but you need to feed it something first. And yes, while you can record natively in Poppy, if something crashes or something happens, you lose all that time that you spent yapping, and you get frustrated and you just throw your phone like against the wall or something like that. I mean, if you've used Claude or ChatGPT, we all know that feeling of spending maybe 15-20 minutes just like yapping into it, and then it loses everything because it doesn't have an internet connection. A lot of these platforms, the transcription tools are just horrible. That's where Literally changed everything for me. I now script my videos just on walks, so I'm not a complete fat ass as I'm trying to lean down. And now I can actually journal on the go while I'm on a Uber ride or on the train or walking on the treadmill. I'm no longer just sitting at a desk at a blank page anymore. I just go outside. I talk into my phone like a normal human being, and I let Literally capture everything. Then I clean it up later with AI, and the original thought is kind of preserved. It will save my original thoughts as well. Literally also handles up to 90-minute recordings without having to break a sweat. It works on desktop, Android, and Apple, but I honestly have two phones and I use it on both my phones, and I think mobile is where it shines. And by the way, Literally does have AI features. You can turn it into a tweet, a script, whatever, but to be honest, I haven't really used those too much. They're kind of gimmicky, and I'd just rather use a dedicated tool for that kind of transformation like Poppy or something, or Subscriber, which we'll talk about later. Literally is my base capture layer, and it's perfect at that one thing. I would say too, because of the ability to go on the go and be more active while recording something, I find that I actually have a lot more energy during the day, and that I'm leaning out slowly but surely, and I'm not always feeling like I have to be tied to a desk to work. So that it's amazing for that. When I think of who it's not for, it's like if you're a typer, if you think better with your fingers in your mouth, I would probably skip it. But this is for professional yappers, verbal processors like myself. And my final verdict is that this tool helped kill my writer's block for me permanently, because I find that I can talk through problems, I can journal out things and run it through AI, and it will solve 99% of my problems. So now that I can kind of yap out YouTube ideas on the go, how do I get it to a really nice script? And this is where the next tool comes into play, Subscriber AI. This is the scriptwriter that actually sounds like you. So you capture your ideas, and now you need to turn it into a script. Here's the little dirty secret about AI writing tools. They all fail at brand voice. I think if you use these tools before, we've all gotten those generic outputs that sound like every other AI generated tool. They feel flat, they feel lifeless. They use those stupid M dashes or the colons, or like they do the where question thing, right? I hate that stuff. And when you look at it, it could have been written by everyone. And it's probably one of the reasons why there's just so much AI slop out here, and why you can just replace another creator's face onto another video and it sounds the exact same. Subscriber AI is a lot different. It actually studies your channel. It analyzes the existing videos and teams and how you specifically talk. And it's not just some generic like YouTuber, it's like a template. One of my favorite functions is the humanize function, where it actually transforms the script to actually sound like you. And so here's my workflow. Basically, my thumbnail designer builds the thumbnail and title first. Subscriber actually has a new feature as of last week when I'm recording this, where they're testing out their thumbnail generator. I have not done it yet, but if you want to see a review video, let me know. But basically what we'll do is we'll take a general concept that we're working on. I'll yap out my general thoughts in my phone. It's nothing really polished, but then Subscriber will ask me like some context questions too. By the way, you can yap straight into Subscriber, but I find it to be a little buggy. That's where I use Letterly or something like that. And then what we do is we take that voice note, the title, the thumbnail, and drop it all into Subscriber AI. Sometimes we'll drop into Poppy first and then drop in Subscriber, but it gives us a rough draft. That's 99% there. And the beauty of this is like, I'm not doing a full writing session anymore. I'm just making minor tweaks to the script, like vibrating the transitions, being like, this sounds awkward, this doesn't sound like me. But what I love is most of the heavy lifting is kind of done. And at the very end, there's a humanized function to just put everything together. And sometimes to make it a little bit more punchy, we'll throw it back into Poppy and all that. Okay, even though it can save me time, one of the things I think about is like, how can I outsource this? How can this be really great for my team? And what is really wild is that this empowers my VA to produce scripts from my voice notes. There is a new function that is coming out relatively soon where you can script out short form videos and stuff too. And someone like my social media manager, they are not professional scriptwriters, but they don't need to be. Subscriber can handle that. It handles the voice and they just manage the process. And then everything is exported to my Notion for my final review. I would give one caveat if you are using Subscriber. It takes time to learn your channel. The more content you feed it, the better it gets, but don't expect perfection from day one. For me, I have a lot of videos on my channel, and so there's plenty of data to pull from. And so when I think about who it's not for, it's like if you are just posting once a month, you just love writing your own scripts just for the sake of the art, sake of the craft, then don't bother with this. This is for creators who are producing a bit of volume, who want to delegate without losing their voice, or actually creators who want to kind of learn script writing. You know, I think that's one of the underutilized things about, dude, AI can actually teach you things and to refine your skills too. And honestly, I probably would not recommend it to entertainment channels either at this point in time. I would say it's really, really strong for educational creators, but I'm also biased because I'm an educational creator. So my final verdict is that Subscriber is probably the closest thing to cloning yourself as a scriptwriter. Okay, now that you know how we write our scripts, you're probably like wondering, well, you know, how do we come up with our initial YouTube ideas? And this is where the next tool comes in. 1 of 10 Finder. This tool will help you stop guessing what works. So great scripts need great thumbnails and great ideas. And to get great thumbnails, you just need a lot of data. I see a lot of creators right now, they scroll YouTube, they find what looks good, they copy, they steal the title, they steal the thumbnail, and half the advice they give you is like from ChatGPT. And it's lazy and it's killing the originality of the platform. And so that's where kind of 1 of 10 comes into play. It started as an outlier tool helping you kind of find viral videos that you could potentially do and get inspired, right? Not just copy. You can find videos in your niche performing way above a channel's average, but then recently it became an S-tier production tool. Now it will help create the thumbnail, the titles, and video ideas. And it's helped me with kind of 3 things. 1, coming up with titles and thumbnails to test. 2, replacing my photo shoots entirely. Yes, I do not need to shoot for thumbnails, which I hated so much. And 3rd thing, it finds outlier videos to feed into Poppy as reference data. Additionally, my thumbnail designer isn't a pixel pusher anymore, and I actually let him go for that role. He's now my content strategist. And now with 1 of 10, we're able to test multiple concepts per video. We can test different titles, we can test different thumbnails, all with a snap of the finger. And we're not just guessing this stuff either. 1 of 10 is really, really great at basing decisions on what's already in Outlier, what's already working on the market. And so who's it not for? I think it's casual YouTubers who don't really care about performance. If you're just posting for fun with 0 expectations, hey, don't waste the money. If you are at least producing a video per week, you hate creating thumbnails, you hate YouTube thumbnail shoots, then this tool is absolutely for you. Or if you're a complete beginner and want to learn how to do a good thumbnail packaging, this is your tool, because I learned so much just from this 1 of 10 Finder here. But okay, now that you've kind of created your videos, how do you actually publish it? Which leads me into the next tool, Get Late. This tool will allow you to go omnipresent without worrying with all the logins and the security nightmares of being on all these platforms. So you made the content, and now you need to get it everywhere. But here's the problem that nobody talks about. As your team grows, more people need access to your social accounts. And sharing your Instagram, Facebook login with a VA is how accounts usually get hacked. And as someone who was Meta verified and asked for support, Meta support is absolutely useless, but that is a separate rant. Here is the old workflow. Prior to Get Late, I would finish a video, I would manually post to LinkedIn, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, community tab, and it was one by one. And if you did it by yourself, you spend so much time doing it, and it was a massive time suck. And one of the reasons why I never outsourced was because like the security risk of like giving out all my passwords was just not worth it. And if you're kind of crappy like Meta, like you don't have an easy way of sharing your login or giving permission to someone. And this is where Get Late comes into play. It solves both. So my VA can actually edit and schedule posts without ever seeing my passwords. They actually can work inside Get Late, and it publishes everything on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all from one place. My team can just schedule in advance, and if needed, I can just review it as well. And it goes out automatically. One thing I like about this app is that they're always doing new updates with it, where like now you can actually like automatically pin your first comment, write your first comment, and it'll actually do it all. Is it perfect? No, there are some quirks. Like for example, if you do post up a piece of content and it fails in upload and you redo it again, it'll repost all the content on all the platforms again, which is pretty annoying. But the thing is that they're pretty responsive, and I believe that the alternative is so much worse of doing it yourself than the trade-off of outsourcing it to someone. In terms of who it's not for, I don't think it's for creators who are just on one single channel. If you don't care about being like on all these other platforms, hey, it's perfect. You can just upload natively. But my final verdict for this is like it's worth it for the security risks alone, and being able to outsource to not one VA but multiple VAs has been a game changer for me. But okay, now there's all these different things happening. How do you make sure that you stay productive and on task? And this leads me into my other tool, akiflow. This is my one hub for pretty much my entire life. So at this point, content is going out, you're keeping everything on Notion, your team is running, and now you need to manage everything where it happens. In my life, there's a lot of things happening. I'm like living and dying for my Google Calendar. I have coaching clients, I have head of sales clients, I have team calendars, I have my personal calendars. And so before akiflow, I was constantly switching between apps, trying to figure out if I had a conflict. Tasks were scattered everywhere. It wouldn't connect to my Notion, wouldn't connect to my Zoom. It was just a lot of stuff. But now akiflow syncs everything into one hub. It has all my calendars. I can actually time block, where I can block a bit of time and put tasks into that time, which is a game changer. And I think Ali Abdal is doing his own app too. It also has all my to-dos as well, all in one view. I would say though, the main killer feature is time blocking. I literally can drag and drop tasks directly into my time blocks in my calendar. So it's not a list of things I need to do. Eventually, it's a map of when I'm actually doing them. So for example, if I'm writing YouTube scripts, I can drag in the specific YouTube video I am working on and link it to my Notion, and it is so convenient. The better thing too is like my team can actually see my schedule too, and so they know when I'm buried and know when I'm available. The cool thing too is like when I star an email or Slack message, let's say if it's a brand deal or an affiliate deal, automatically becomes a to-do in my akiflow, and I can just schedule into my calendar. I don't have to manually add it to a list. I just put a star and it's in the system, which alone actually saves me a lot of time per week. And especially with my Slack messages blowing up in my channel, like, dude, this is so helpful. In terms of who this is not for, if you have one calendar and a simple schedule, it's kind of overkill, right? This is for people like if you are juggling multiple roles, you have multiple clients, you have multiple brand deals, you're struggling to keep everything together, or you like being able to time block everything, this is for you. For me, this is my second brain for everything that needs to actually get done. Let's go into the final tool, pretty prompts. the boring tool that makes everything so much better. Okay, this is the last one, and I'll be honest, this one is kind of boring, but kind of low-key goated. In my opinion, it's one of the highest ROI tools in this list. Because the truth is, every app uses AI now. Poppy uses AI, Subscriber uses AI, 1 of 10 has AI features, and every single one of them lives or dies on the quality of your prompts, what you kind of input into your LLM. And there's a famous consulting term where it says garbage in, garbage out. And so it doesn't matter how good of a tool is. If you put really bad prompts, it's not going to give you the desired outcome. And when I speak to some of my friends who get frustrated at AI, what I realize is that most people's prompts fail because they're not refined enough for a consistent output. And this is where pretty prompts comes into play, because you don't have to be a prompt engineer, neither does your VA. And you shouldn't have to be, because we're humans, right? Pretty prompts pretty much is a one-click solution where you kind of can yap into pretty prompts or copy and paste your existing prompt, and you click one button and it approves the prompts automatically without any expertise required. What makes it really powerful is that you can give everyone access to it. For example, when my VA is building a Poppy board for our YouTube scripting, she is dealing with better prompts from the start. And so what this allows for is every single AI tool that we touch gets better and better with fewer and fewer attempts. We're always reverse prompting, we're always doing that stuff. To be honest, it's not very flashy. It's not super exciting like Poppy or any of those other tools, but it's a base layer that makes every AI investment more cost effective. So you might be like, who is it not for? Well, if you're already happy with your current prompts and you're happy with the output you're getting, skip it. You don't need it. But in my opinion, this is definitely for teams who are building systems and workflows across multiple AI tools. And so my final verdict is that this is the unsexiest tool that quietly multiplies the ROI of everything else. When I think about the real value about these tools, the real value isn't personal efficiency, it's team productivity. So whether your VA uses Poppy to generate copy that sounds like you, or an email draft that sounds like you, whether your thumbnail designer uses 1 of 10 to spot trends before they peak, when your whole team uses better prompts through pretty prompts, and when your content goes everywhere with get late without you touching a password, that's when a 7-person team can start outputting like a 30 or 100-person team traditionally. For me, these 7 tools aren't just apps, they're the operating system for a lean content business that doesn't require you to be everywhere all the time. If you want the full breakdown on any of these tools individually, every review is linked in the description below. If you want to support my channel and help me get out of my mom's basement by using our affiliate links, please use our links, and also drop in the comments. What are your favorite tools right now? What do you want me to review next? I'm always hunting for the next best thing, so if it's good, I'll buy it, I'll test it, and I'll tell you whether it's worth it or not. Anyways, here's another video that the algo gods will think you'll like. See you guys later. Take care. Peace, mud people. Bye.